God's chosen one. This is not a warning. This is a confirmation. Your life is about to change, and there's no stopping it now. Heaven is moving. The atmosphere around you is shifting. You've felt it, you've sensed it, and now it's here. You're not watching this by coincidence. This moment was written, scripted before you took your first breath. This is the sound of divine timing arriving on schedule. You're not late. You're not behind. You're right where God needs you to be for what He's about to pour out. And listen to me carefully. Do not ignore this, because what's coming is not small. It's not ordinary. It's not just another blessing. This is the one that will shake your bloodline, heal your past, restore your name, and set fire to your calling. Leave a comment with the number 777 right now, if your spirit knows this word is for you. 777, the number of alignment, completion, prophetic release. Type it boldly. Claim it early. Now breathe, because the favor that's chasing you is faster than anything that's been trying to block you. God said, you're about to be blessed, and this time, no devil, no delay, no doubt will interfere. This is a sealed word, a guaranteed shift, and you are the recipient. If you're still watching, it's because your soul is responding to the frequency of heaven. Hit that like button to agree with what God is doing, and subscribe to join thousands of chosen one souls walking this divine path. We don't follow the world's timeline. We follow prophecy. Now hear this. There are blessings that are hidden, and there are blessings that are revealed. But what's about to hit your life is a blessing that announces itself. It's the kind of favor that doesn't knock. It enters. It doesn't ask for permission. It was sent with authority. It has your name on it, and it's about to walk into your life like it owns the place. Because heaven owns everything. This is not the season to doubt. This is the season to receive. Comment 777. Again, if you can feel this word stirring in your chest, the reason you've been under so much pressure lately is because you're next. You are next. Not next in line, next in manifestation, next in inheritance, next in kingdom visibility. The silence you've been sitting in, it wasn't rejection. It was God pulling you back so He could launch you with more force. The setback was not punishment. It was set up for public oil. And yes, this one is public. God is going to bless you in a way that even your enemies will have to say, that had to be God. Watch how they stare. Watch how they whisper. Watch how they wonder why it wasn't them. But they won't be able to deny. You are chosen. God didn't call you to be humble in your breakthrough. He called you to be a billboard for His glory. Get ready, because what's about to enter your life won't require explanation. It will carry evidence. Your body's been tired. Your heart's been stretched. Your mind's been tested. But your spirit, oh, your spirit has stayed faithful, and heaven has taken notice. There are blessings for those who ask, but there are different blessings for those who endure. You endured the breaking. Now comes the blessing. Don't you dare let fear make you hesitate now. Hit that subscribe button to stay aligned with this movement. We move when heaven moves. Because this is not the season of maybe. This is the season of yes and amen. And if you're still doubting whether this is for you, let me say this plainly. God said, you're about to be blessed. Not next year, not next decade. Now, you've passed the test. You've sown the tears. You've kept the faith when no one clapped, no one saw, no one cared. But heaven saw, heaven counted, and heaven just said, release it now. Let that promise drop on your life like sudden rain in a dry place. You've been in drought long enough. Now comes the flood. Favor will overtake you like a tidal wave. Not to drown you, but to cleanse you of every memory of lack. And yes, it's okay to cry right now, not because you're weak, but because your spirit is recognizing truth. This is your moment. This is your shift. This is your confirmation. Comment 777, one last time if you're claiming this in full agreement, because what's coming can't be delayed. What's coming can't be negotiated. It is divine, it is heavy, and it is already moving toward you. Don't ignore this. Your spirit didn't. Your blessing is closer than it's ever been, and nothing can stop it now. The enemy thought you forgot who you were, thought the delay made you forget what was spoken over your life. But what they didn't expect was for you to survive the waiting room with fire in your eyes. They didn't expect the oil on your life to increase in silence. They didn't expect your private obedience to qualify you for public glory. They underestimated how dangerous you would become after the storm. And now, you've become undeniable. See, this is not about what you prayed for anymore. This is about what He promised. There are blessings attached to prayer, but there are blessings that have already been decreed. What's about to show up in your life was spoken before you knew how to ask. Heaven is just delivering on something that was already written. You're not earning it, you're inheriting it. That's why no one can block it. That's why no one can take credit for it. That's why it's going to confuse people when it shows up. They saw your struggle, but they didn't see your seed. They saw your pain, but they didn't witness your posture. They judged your process, but they missed the prophecy. And now they're about to see results they can't explain. And you won't have to either. This blessing, it will speak for itself. Hit that like button if your faith is already responding. Because faith moves faster than time. And the truth is, your spirit knows this moment has been tracking you for years. You didn't miss your moment. Your moment just had to mature before it could meet you. What's been taking so long isn't the blessing. It's been God enlarging the room to fit what He's about to give you. He's been expanding your name in silence, multiplying your impact in the shadows. Because the size of the stage He's preparing requires depth you didn't even know you were building. Comment 7:7. Again, if you understand, this isn't random. It's divine math, prophetic precision, heavenly algorithm. You are being positioned without permission, and what makes this next move so miraculous is that you won't have to chase it. It's chasing you. Let that sink in. Because for too long, you've been conditioned to strive, to prove, to earn. But this season isn't about what you can grind for. This season is about what you can carry. And only the ones who've endured the empty seasons can be trusted with the overflow. That's you. The way you loved when you had nothing. The way you stayed pure when no one was watching. The way you praised with hands lifted even when your heart was breaking. That's what qualified you. Not performance, posture. And now, heaven is rewarding posture like never before. This next level is not just about provision, it's about placement. God is not just blessing you financially, He is placing you strategically. In rooms you didn't ask for, at tables you didn't build, with keys to doors no one even knew existed. Because when God blesses you, He doesn't just add, He multiplies. He doesn't just restore, He restructures. And your whole life is about to be restructured in your favor. You thought you were getting a blessing, but God's about to give you a blueprint, a new system, a new alignment, a new circle, a new strategy, a new name. You won't even recognize the version of you that's emerging. Not because you've changed, but because you've been unveiled. Who you really are is being revealed. And when the real you walks into the promise, nothing will look the same. You won't beg for a seat. You won't audition for approval. You'll walk in with authority because heaven already validated you. You were hidden, not forgotten. Covered, not cancelled. God was preserving you for such a time as this. And now, the seal has been broken. Heaven's dispatch is moving. The release is in progress. And every delay was actually part of the design. Subscribe now. Not for a number, but to stay in sync with what God is doing next. Because this is not the end. This is the unlock. This is where prophecy turns into evidence. The kind that can't be denied, debated, or destroyed. You will not have to explain this next move. You'll only have to steward it. God's about to place something in your hands that demands reverence, not just applause. Something sacred, something generational, something that shifts legacy, not just lifestyle. And make no mistake, you were made for this. You didn't survive what you did for a small blessing. You didn't endure that heartbreak, that betrayal, that wilderness season just to come out with scraps. No, you survived hell so heaven could put a crown on your name. You're not stepping into abundance, you're stepping into inheritance. And inheritance hits different because it means you didn't earn it, but it was always yours. You just had to grow into it. Comment 777 if you feel it now. The weight of promise sitting on your chest, not as pressure, but as confirmation. Because the weight you feel isn't fear, it's glory. You've never been closer. Heaven is about to answer you with volume, the kind that echoes across generations, the kind that turns heads, the kind that breaks cycles, and you won't have to say a word. Your life will be the prophecy. Your presence will be the proof. You're about to be blessed. Because God said so. Write for me, Jan Noy. And now, everything that was once silent in your life is about to start speaking. Doors you forgot were even there are about to swing open. Connections you never pursued are about to pursue you. What was dormant is about to erupt. What was buried is about to rise. Because when heaven moves, everything responds. Even what looked dead, even what you gave up on, even what others said would never happen for you. God doesn't need ideal conditions. He speaks into chaos and brings order. He speaks into ashes and produces glory. He speaks into the impossible and calls it done. That's what's happening right now. You're not waiting on a blessing. The blessing is waiting on your awareness. The shift isn't coming. It's already here. And the moment you align with it, you step out of delay and into divine rhythm. Type 777 if you can feel your name vibrating in this word. Not just in your head, in your bones. Not just in your spirit, in your very timeline. Because from this point forward, time won't function the same. Acceleration is taking over, and what took others 10 years to do, God is about to do in you in 10 weeks. Because this next part of your journey won't be about human pace. It'll be about prophetic speed. You're about to skip lines, jump systems, break limits, walk through doors no one even told you existed. And you won't need credentials. You'll carry oil. You won't need permission. You'll carry presence. The reason you never fit the mold is because you were designed to replace it. Let that settle in. You were never called to fit in. You were born to disrupt, to reconstruct, to carry out divine blueprints that this world hasn't even seen yet. That's why nothing conventional ever worked for you. Because what's inside of you isn't from here. And now, that blueprint is being activated. Heaven is assigning angels to your plans. The wind of the Spirit is aligning timing and territory. Every false start is being reversed. Every missed moment is being restored. You are not starting over. You're starting right on time. And this time, what you build won't collapse. Because this time, the foundation is different. It's not built on striving. It's not built on trauma. It's not built on trying to prove anything to anyone. This foundation is built on divine instruction, on covenant, on obedience, and anything built on obedience is unshakable. Hit that like button if your soul is catching revelation mid-sentence. Because God isn't just speaking to you, He's calling you. This is not just about increase. This is about instruction. This blessing is not just an answer, it's an assignment. And you'll know it's from Him, because it will fit your hands perfectly. It won't drain you. It won't confuse you. It won't compete with your peace. It will confirm your identity. Because the blessing that's about to hit your life was made specifically for your calling. Not your comfort, not your image, not your ego, but your calling. And that's why the wait was so long. God was preparing you to receive something your former self could never handle. He wasn't just preparing the blessing, He was preparing you. Because what good is open doors if you still carry closed mindsets? What good is promotion if you still believe you're disqualified? What good is favor if your confidence hasn't been healed? But now, you're ready. And you know how I know, because you stopped looking for signs, and you became one. You became the confirmation, the walking prophecy, the living evidence that God still finishes what He starts. And now, heaven is responding with power. Comment 777. Again, not out of ritual, but to mark this moment, because everything changes from here. Cycles are breaking, the warfare is folding, the waiting is closing, the blessing is arriving, and this time, you won't miss it. You won't sabotage it. You won't shrink under it. You won't hand it away, because this time, you believe you deserve it. Not because of what you did, but because of who He is. And He is not a man that He should lie. If He said it, He's doing it. If He promised it, it's yours. You're about to be blessed in a way that makes history in your family line. You're about to receive a breakthrough that makes no natural sense. You're about to step into alignment that produces overflow with no explanation. This blessing has weight, it has glory, it has assignment, it has divine fingerprints. You'll know it wasn't coincidence. You'll know it wasn't luck. You'll know it was good. Because it'll feel like home. You'll look around and realize you're no longer surviving, you're inheriting. And when the blessing comes, remember, it didn't come because you were perfect. It came because you were positioned. Now walk, not in fear, not in hesitation, not in guilt. Walk like someone who knows their name is written in heaven. Walk like someone who's carrying an answered prayer. Walk like someone who has finally arrived. Because you have. And your blessing is about to prove it. And now, something sacred is unfolding beneath the surface. Not loud, not dramatic, but undeniable. Because the most powerful moves of God don't always announce themselves with thunder. Sometimes they whisper, and the whole earth still shifts. You're not in a season of noise, you're in a season of confirmation. The kind where doors open without knocking, where answers show up before the question even leaves your mouth, where your spirit starts recognizing things your mind hasn't even caught up to yet. This is not magic. This is divine alignment at work. Your life is being organized by unseen hands. Schedules are bending, systems are moving, people are being repositioned, not for chaos, but for collision. There are encounters on your path now that are not random. There are names about to be spoken in rooms you haven't entered. There are miracles attached to this moment that require no announcement. They're coming quietly, but when they arrive, they will roar, and you'll know it was God, because it will feel like you've been here before. Not in the natural, but in your dreams. Because this is what you saw when you were still crying on the floor. This is what you felt in the dark, when you had nothing to hold but a word. And now, that word is becoming flesh. What was invisible is about to become unmissable. Type 77. Again, if your spirit just caught the shift. Because the atmosphere around you is no longer normal. It's charged, it's sacred, it's prophetic. Even people who don't know God will start sensing the weight on you. Even environments that used to drain you won't be able to contain you, because you've outgrown the level that once held you hostage. And now you're walking with the weight of assignment on your shoulders. This is not just elevation, this is extraction. God is pulling you out of places that can't handle what's on your life. Not because you're better, but because you're different. And difference demands separation. Separation demands obedience. Obedience demands trust. You are being separated for visibility, elevated for impact, prepared for encounters that require your authenticity. Not your performance, not your personality, not your presentation, just your presence. Because that's where the oil is. That's where the favor lives. That's what moves mountains without you touching a thing. Your presence, when anointed, is more powerful than your resume, more valuable than your connections, more convincing than any speech. Because presence speaks when words run out. And right now, your presence is speaking louder than ever. But this isn't just for show. This is preparation for a door you didn't expect to open this soon. Yes, this soon. The one you've been waiting on, the one that looked locked, the one you almost crossed off your prayer list. God didn't forget it. He reserved it. Because certain doors aren't delayed, they're timed. And the timing was never about punishment. It was about readiness, because if he gave it to you too early, you would have treated it like a gift. But now, you'll treat it like a throne. Because this isn't a blessing for your convenience. It's a platform for your purpose, and you can't afford to mishandle it. Not with the lives attached to it. Not with the legacy tied to it. Not with the oil you've suffered to carry. So now, God is clearing your vision, not just so you can see what's ahead, but so you can recognize what's no longer worthy of your energy. You don't need closure, you need clarity. Because what's coming next doesn't require old conversations. It requires fresh capacity, and capacity doesn't come from adding more. It comes from releasing what no longer aligns. This is your releasing season, and everything you let go of will make room for what you've been praying for. Don't resist it, because the blessing that's about to enter your life doesn't fit inside clutter. There's a specific alignment required to carry what God is sending. That's why He's pruning, that's why He's stretching, that's why He's separating, not to punish you, but to prepare you. Because this next move requires freedom. Not control, not calculation, just trust. Deep, unshakable, inconvenient trust. The kind of trust that walks into rooms you don't feel ready for. The kind of trust that says yes before the how is even revealed. The kind of trust that lays down fear, not because it's absent, but because it's irrelevant. Your faith is being matured. This is not about believing for something small. This is about believing for something you've never seen before. Comment. 7. Again, if your heart just leapt, even for a second, because that leap wasn't just emotion, it was recognition. You've seen this moment in glimpses, felt it in dreams, heard it in whispers, and now you're standing in the beginning of its fulfillment. The restlessness wasn't resistance, it was repositioning. God had to make you uncomfortable so you wouldn't settle. You weren't losing peace. You were losing permission to stay where you no longer belong. Because you've outgrown that season, outgrown that circle, outgrown that structure, and now the next version of you is coming into view. Not the version you created for survival, the version He formed for impact. Get ready, because everything God is doing from here on is on purpose. No more random, no more repeating, no more rehearsing, trauma, and calling it loyalty. This is your breakout, this is your reveal, this is your undeniable shift, and no, you're not crazy for believing this. You're chosen, and chosen ones don't wait like the rest. They move different, think different, hear different, walk different, and because you've embraced your difference, you're about to be blessed differently. There is a moment in every chosen one's journey where the atmosphere around them becomes incompatible with who they are becoming. Not because something went wrong, but because everything is aligning. This is that moment for you. You are not being attacked. You are being transitioned. You are not being abandoned. You are being repositioned. What felt like silence was strategy. What felt like loss was leverage. And what felt like delay was protection wrapped in disguise, because if the door had opened sooner, you would have walked in wearing old armor. And this blessing doesn't fit your past. This requires a new language, a new posture, a new atmosphere, and yes, a new level of discernment. Because everyone can't go with you, not because they're bad, but because the version of you that tolerated their presence no longer exists. This elevation demands boundaries, and boundaries are not walls. They're wisdom. They're the evidence that you finally decided your anointing is worth protecting. And now, God is about to send confirmation through disconnection. Watch how certain conversations dry up. Watch how certain patterns lose power. Watch how certain people exit without a sound. It's not rejection. It's realignment. You're not being left out. You're being set apart. And that distinction is holy. It's intentional. It's not something to explain. It's something to embrace. Leave a comment with 7 if something in your life is already beginning to shift, because what's coming next will require your full attention. No more distractions dressed up as obligations. No more guilt disguised as loyalty. No more spiritual fatigue from carrying what God never told you to pick up. You are being called into clarity. And clarity isn't just about vision. It's about discipline. The discipline to stop shrinking when you're fully qualified. The discipline to stop explaining what God already approved. The discipline to walk in rooms and say nothing, and still command the atmosphere. Because this next blessing, it won't require your voice. It will respond to your vibration. Yes, your frequency has changed. Your presence has evolved. Your spirit has outgrown limitation. And when God shifts your energy, He shifts your environment. That's why nothing around you feels familiar anymore, because you're no longer compatible with anything that caters to who you used to be. This is spiritual evolution. Not loud, not chaotic, but unmistakably sovereign. God is performing heart surgery without opening your chest. He's rewriting timelines without asking for permission. He's turning the page of your life. And this chapter doesn't look like anything that came before it, because this time, you're not going back to what's comfortable. You're stepping into what's covenantal. And covenant doesn't come with comfort. It comes with confirmation. Confirmation that your voice matters. Confirmation that your obedience was never wasted. Confirmation that even when you thought nothing was moving, heaven was working overtime behind the veil. And now the veil is lifting. Not just in the spirit, in your reality, you're going to start seeing things as they are. Not as your fear imagined, not as your trauma projected, but as your purpose requires. You're going to stop second-guessing what's been confirmed. You're going to stop settling for half-open doors. You're going to stop giving access to people who never honored your oil. Because you've learned the lesson now. You've been tested in the fire. You've been refined in the waiting. You've been anointed in the silence. And now you're being released. Not just into blessing, into dominion. That means you're not just receiving territory, you're governing it. That means the room won't just welcome you, it will respond to you. Because authority doesn't ask, it arrives. And you've earned this arrival through your survival. What you endured would have destroyed someone without your resilience. But you didn't just survive. You grew. You healed. You remained. And the ones who remain get rewarded. This is your reward season. Not a random check. Not a temporary breakthrough. Not a surface-level victory. A reward with roots. The kind that can't be stolen. The kind that doesn't expire. The kind that redefines what favor looks like. And it's headed to your life with precision. The angels assigned to you have already been dispatched. The coordinates have already been set. The delivery is en route. And the label says, chosen, verified, prepared. Subscribe now, not because of content, but because of covenant. to stay in rhythm with every release that follows this one, because this is just the beginning. You haven't even touched the full measure of what's coming. And if you feel overwhelmed, good. That's the sign it's bigger than you. That's how you know God's hand is on it, because it intimidates your flesh, but it confirms your spirit. The calling was never supposed to be comfortable. It was supposed to be consecrated. And what's been consecrated can never be cursed. So walk forward now, not as a servant begging for crumbs, but as a child reclaiming your inheritance. Because you're not chasing the blessing is chasing you. And this time, it's not stopping short, it's arriving in full. There is a weight you've carried that no one else could see, a silent burden, a sacred pressure, not because you were weak, but because you were entrusted. Entrusted with vision, entrusted with warfare, entrusted with a future too holy to be born in plain sight. And now that weight is turning into evidence. Because heaven doesn't waste weight. God doesn't assign struggle without strategy. There's always a reason the oil costs what it costs. And for you, the cost was high. Isolation when you needed affirmation, loss when you needed support, delay when you were desperate for momentum. But now that cost is becoming currency. Not earthly currency, not just material breakthrough, but spiritual authority that cannot be counterfeited. You're about to walk into rooms that respond to your history with God. Not your status, not your followers, not your platform, your history. The nights you prayed and nobody knew, the times you obeyed when it made no sense, the tears that watered ground you didn't even know you were planting. It's all about to speak for you now, and you won't have to announce yourself. The evidence will do it for you. Type 777 if your spirit is testifying right now, because this isn't inspiration, this is activation. This is the sound of chains breaking in rooms you haven't even entered yet. This is the turning of tides that held your family hostage for generations. This is the shattering of ceilings built by fear and normalized by culture. You're stepping into something your bloodline has never seen before. Not because you're perfect, but because you didn't quit. While others adjusted their calling to fit their comfort, you adjusted your life to fit your calling. And heaven recorded every sacrifice, every yes that cost you your comfort, every time you walked away when staying would have been easier. And now, God is repaying obedience with overflow, but not the kind of overflow the world recognizes, not a counterfeit version of success. This overflow is revelation-based. You're not just about to receive more, you're about to understand more. Revelation about who you are. Revelation about why it had to be you. Revelation about how all the pieces actually fit together. The fog is clearing, the confusion is lifting, and the version of you that once questioned everything is about to become a trusted voice for others. Because this pain did not come to destroy you. It came to teach you how to lead. Not from a podium, but from presence. Because true leadership doesn't need a spotlight. It carries a frequency. And you, chosen one, are walking in that frequency now. You will lead without trying, heal without striving, shift atmospheres without speaking, because the anointing on your life doesn't just break yokes, it redefines norms. And that's why you never fit in, because you were born to be a blueprint, not a replica, not a copy, a first. The first to break cycles, the first to own land, the first to love without fear, the first to walk in power without pride, the first to build with legacy in mind. And yes, it's heavy, but it's holy. And God would not have trusted you with this weight if He didn't already assign angels to hold up your arms when you get tired. You're not building alone. You are not walking alone. You are not rising alone. Heaven is backing you in full. The contracts may be earthly, but the authorization is divine. Comment 7PO7. Again, if you receive that, not as hype, but as heavenly documentation of your agreement. Because God doesn't just move on faith, He moves on agreement. And right now, heaven is watching for who will say yes, even without the blueprint. Because the next thing God gives you won't come with step-by-step instructions. It'll come with a word. And you'll either trust it or miss it. But I know this about you. You've been trained in the unknown. You've walked through too many dark seasons to be afraid of mystery now. The unknown is not your enemy. It's your birthing room. It's where you found your strength. It's where you discovered your voice. It's where you stopped performing and started becoming. And now, you're stepping into a light that won't blind you. It will reveal you. Because the hidden years are over, the quiet refining is done. The season of proving has expired. You are no longer being tested, you are being trusted. And when God trusts you, He hands you the kind of influence that doesn't inflate your ego. It deepens your impact. Get ready to carry what others couldn't. Get ready to do what others wouldn't. Get ready to become what others only dreamed about. Not because of pride, but because of purpose. Because you're not chasing platforms, you're building altars. You're not just reaching for influence, you're releasing legacy. You're not here to compete, you're here to shift culture. And culture doesn't shift through trends, it shifts through truth. And the truth on your life is undeniable. The favor on your life is unshakable. The calling on your life is unstoppable. You are walking into a season that was written before time began. You don't have to manufacture it. You don't have to fake it. You don't have to force it. You just have to walk in it. Because what's coming next is already yours. There is a moment in every chosen one's journey when what used to feel like pressure suddenly starts feeling like permission. Permission to rise. Permission to take up space. Permission to move differently, speak differently, believe differently, and not apologize for it. That's the season you've just entered. You're no longer trying to qualify for rooms. You're starting to realize the room doesn't even function correctly until you show up. Because you're not a guest, you're the reason the atmosphere shifts. You carry the missing ingredient. You carry the unspoken authority. You carry the unseen key that unlocks destinies around you without even knowing it. And that's why your presence has always made people uncomfortable. Because people who haven't accessed their own light will always be disturbed by someone who walks in theirs. But you were never born to dim. You were born to signal. You are a sign, a marker, a prophetic echo of what God is doing in the earth, a walking answer to prayers prayed by people you've never met. And now, your arrival is not just timely, it's strategic. Because God doesn't raise voices for vanity. He raises them for alignment, and everything you've endured up until now was to calibrate your voice to His frequency, so that when you speak, the spirit realm responds. When you move, generational patterns fracture. When you pray, atmospheres correct themselves, not because you're loud, but because you're aligned. Aligned with the flow of something ancient, yet new. Something weighty, yet light. Something fierce, yet holy. You're not performing, you're hosting. Hosting glory, hosting wisdom, hosting revelation that doesn't come from study, but from submission. Type 777 if that just unlocked something in you. Because the world will try to give language to what they can't define. They'll call it vibes. They'll call it aura. They'll call it energy. But let's be clear. It's anointing. And yours cannot be copied. It cannot be studied. It cannot be bought, borrowed, or imitated. Because your oil came from crushing. The kind that doesn't show up in pictures. The kind that doesn't get applause. The kind that happens behind closed doors while nobody is looking, except heaven. That oil is rare, and rare oil attracts rare assignments. So don't be surprised when the path before you gets narrower. Not because you're doing something wrong, but because you're being trusted with something weighty. And weight doesn't travel wide, it travels deep. God is sending you deep now, into spaces that require more than charisma, into assignments that demand integrity, into territories where your name was already spoken before you even showed up. Because when you carry heaven's yes, you don't need man's approval. You don't need to network your way in. You don't need to manipulate timing. You don't need to chase platforms. You just need to remain obedient. Because obedience is the currency of the unseen. And right now, your account is full. Years of private yeses, silent sacrifices, unseen obedience. It's all compounded in the spirit, and now it's time to withdraw. Get ready to reap in places you never sowed. Get ready to harvest in fields you didn't plant. Get ready to receive in territories you thought were blocked. Because heaven is a multiplier, not a negotiator. And when the fullness of time comes, there is no delay, no detour, no devil that can interrupt the outpour. This is the fullness. This is the appointed time. This is the divine release of every delayed instruction that you were obedient enough to wait for. And no, not everyone will understand this level. Not everyone will celebrate it. Not everyone will clap when your name is called. But when you're chosen, recognition is not a requirement. You don't need validation. You need vision. And vision is exactly what's being restored to you now. Vision that was blurred by grief. Vision that was clouded by confusion. Vision that was sabotaged by cycles. God is restoring your clarity. You'll no longer see through the lens of trauma. You'll no longer interpret opportunities through the filter of rejection. You'll no longer disqualify yourself from tables that were built for you to sit at, because now you know who you are. And more importantly, you remember who sent you. You're not walking in your own name. You're walking in assignment. And the moment you understand that, you stop shrinking. You stop hesitating. You stop explaining your obedience to people who weren't there for the calling. Because the instructions you've received weren't given in a crowd. They were whispered in the secret place. And the secret place is where your power was forged. That's why you're not fragile. You're forged. You were shaped in fire, tempered in silence, refined by loss, and now you carry something too sacred to be handled casually. That's why God is shifting your surroundings, not to isolate you, but to preserve you, because sacred things can't be stored in common places, and sacred vessels can't be treated like scenery. You're not background, you're blueprint, and that blueprint is about to manifest in full color. Because what God is building through you has never been seen before. Not in your family, not in your region, not in your generation. You are the prototype, the example, the evidence that obedience creates legacy. And your legacy won't be loud, it'll be lasting. And now the winds around your life are no longer swirling at random. They are gathering purpose, gathering fulfillment, gathering promises spoken long ago and placing them right into reach. This is not chaos. This is convergence. Everything you've been through, everything that felt scattered, disjointed, unexplainable, it's aligning now. Because when God releases the word converge, every detour suddenly becomes a shortcut. Every delay suddenly becomes acceleration. Every misstep suddenly becomes strategy. You are not being rerouted. You are being revealed. The hidden pieces are surfacing. The buried seeds are rising. The fractured moments are becoming a divine mosaic. And it's not just coming together. It's coming full circle. Type 777 if you can already feel the return of clarity, the return of strength, the return of the version of you that never needed to be approved, only activated. You're not waiting on release. You're stepping into recognition, the space where heaven starts to echo back what your spirit always knew, that you were never behind, that you were never forgotten, that every not yet was really, watch this. And now heaven is watching you walk into what watched you bleed. You're stepping into places where your scars will become strategies, Your stories will become maps. Your former battles will become blueprints for others' breakthroughs. Because this isn't just about your blessing. This is about building altars with your history. You are not just carrying a testimony. You are becoming a template for resilience, for restoration, for supernatural, unexplainable, irrevocable redemption. And redemption doesn't apologize. It enters, it heals, it reclaims, it restores what was taken without needing to negotiate. You don't have to explain why you're being elevated. You don't have to justify why favor is finding you. You don't have to shrink so others feel safe around what God is doing in you. This time, you walk tall, not in ego, in evidence, the evidence of what obedience produces when no one's watching, the evidence of what surrender does when done in silence, the evidence of what happens when you choose alignment over applause. Because you weren't built to be popular, you were built to be prophetic. And prophets don't perform, they position. That's what your life has been doing this whole time, positioning, not just for influence, but for impact. Not just for recognition, but for reign. You're not called to echo trends. You're called to initiate timelines. And that's why you've never felt on time with the world's rhythm. Because you were on heaven's clock, and heaven doesn't rush revelation. It waits, it watches, and when the moment is ready, it releases. And the release is happening now. Heaven is unlocking rooms you didn't even know existed. Heaven is writing your name into spaces that once felt impenetrable. Heaven is shaking systems to make room for your presence. Not because you're entitled, but because you're essential. You are no longer a maybe. You are no longer a someday. You are no longer a hidden draft in the back of destiny's notebook. You are live. You are launched. And what God is launching through you doesn't need validation to land. It just needs your yes. So give it. Give it again. Give it deeper. Give it even if you don't know the outcome. Because the outcome was never your responsibility. Obedience was, and your obedience is triggering release across dimensions. Generational blessings, multiplied influence, healed bloodlines, reversed verdicts, sudden promotions, silent prayers answered with thunder, but only for those who still believe. So if you still believe, type 777, one more time. Not as a wish, but as witness. Let heaven record it. Let the gates swing open. Let the winds gather the fragments of your process and deliver the package whole. Because it's coming now, not in part, not delayed, not conditional, but whole. Favor, whole. Provision, whole. Vision, whole. Assignment, whole. Love, whole. Healing, whole. Leadership, whole. Because God doesn't deal in fragments. He finishes what he authors. He completes what he calls. He crowns what he cleansed. And you are not being sent into this next season with gaps. You're being sent with glory. That glow they see, it's not skincare. It's not aesthetics. It's not lighting. It's legacy. It's the residue of every season you didn't quit. Every moment you stayed faithful. Every time you kept building when it looked like nothing was happening. Now everything is happening. Quickly, boldly, uncontrollably. Because God is not just answering your prayers, He's amplifying them. The blessing won't just satisfy you. It will overflow. It will spill into others. It will anoint environments. It will trigger revivals in places that once ignored you. Because what once dismissed you is now depending on you. You're becoming the person you prayed for. You're stepping into rooms your ancestors never saw, but interceded for anyway. You're carrying answers to questions that haven't even been asked yet. You're proof that heaven still delivers. And your life is the package. And now the tables are turning. Not in theory, but in real time. What was beneath you is now beneath your feet. What had control over you is now losing power just by being in your presence. What once intimidated you now watches you with awe. Because authority has shifted, heaven has ruled, and the crown has found its rightful head. You don't need a stage. You don't need a microphone. You don't need an announcement. You carry the evidence in your movement. When you walk in alignment, the earth responds. Doors recognize you. Atmospheres lean toward you. Systems adjust around you without explanation. You don't walk in like a stranger. You walk in like a code. A divine code unlocking what was previously sealed. A prophetic key-fitting locks that didn't even have names. A spiritual assignment wrapped in human skin. That's why you can't afford to see yourself as common. That's why your voice doesn't get to be timid anymore. That's why your presence doesn't shrink to keep the peace. Because peace has already been assigned to follow you. You don't chase peace. You carry it. You don't beg for space. You create it. You don't copy patterns. You disrupt them. You are not a reaction to what's wrong with the world. You are a solution crafted in the throne room. You are a response to prayers made before you were born. You are the living proof that divine delay does not mean divine denial. Every season you survived, it wasn't just endurance. It was preparation. You were gaining language. You were learning timing. You were being tuned to hear God in frequencies others dismiss as silence. And now that silence has become strategy. Because when God stops speaking publicly, it means he's getting ready to move personally. And this next move, it won't be explained. It will be revealed. Revealed in your hands. Revealed in your peace. Revealed in the way you no longer tolerate anything that subtracts from your mission. You have been given the gift of divine intolerance. Not bitterness, not arrogance, but a holy boundary that refuses to entertain distractions wearing familiar faces. You've outgrown the version of yourself that needed approval to feel aligned. You've exited the system that required you to shrink so others felt safe. You've evolved beyond applause. Now you're moved by assignment. You no longer chase what glitters. You follow what glows. And the glow on your life is not decorative. It is directional. It points to what's next. It draws what's yours. It protects what's holy. And this next dimension isn't about more. It's about movement. You're not climbing a ladder. You're shifting dimensions. You're not adding influence. You're stepping into inheritance. This is the realm where legacy starts talking back. Where prayers your grandparents whispered are showing up in your inbox. Where cycles that ran through bloodlines hit your name and break. Not through shouting, not through struggle, but through stillness. Because stillness is not inactivity, it is insistence. It says, I trust God too much to chase what's already mine. It says, if it requires striving, it's not in alignment. It says, my presence is proof enough. Type 777. Again, if your stillness has grown louder than your striving. Because now you're not walking like someone trying to get in. You're walking like someone who belongs. And belonging changes everything. It changes how you pray. It changes how you discern. It changes how you move in silence without shrinking in fear. You're not hiding. You're honoring timing. Because timing isn't about clocks. It's about capacity. And your capacity has just been expanded. That's why you've been feeling the stretch. That's why old patterns stopped working. That's why certain habits started tasting like dust. Because the container you once lived in can no longer hold the version of you that's emerging. You're stepping into the uncontained.